everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and this is the predictions for the new moon on August 18, 2020 for Gemini and Gemini rising. And let's get started. All right, the sun is conjunct the moon in Leo in your third house. How great is that for Gemini? Because that's the Gemini house. That means that the focus for the next 4 weeks is on communication, self-expression, your thinking process, as well as some of the other things, which is neighbors, siblings, short distance travel, education, things like that. So this is about how you are talking to yourself, how you're communicating with others, and are you saying things that are uplifting to yourself? Are you supporting yourself? Are you really connecting with those people that you want to connect with? So all of that is happening, and this is several weeks of this energy where if you make connections, they can manifest over this course of this month and over the course of the year, because this is the last time you will have this new moon in this house for a year. Now, this new moon is making a basket full of aspects, so let's start to talk about those. Starting with the fact that Mercury is sitting right there in Leo with the sun and moon, and Mercury is your ruler. But what has happened here is because of the brightness of the sun, that Mercury is obscured. Now, Mercury, which is the planet of communication, it means that when it comes to what you're taking in with a communication, the sun is so bright we can't see. And so you may not be hearing what other people are saying. You may not be taking advice from others. You may only be hearing that own drumbeat in your head. And so this can get you to not be looking at the signs that are going on, but to say, all right, I've already decided the direction I'm going and I'm going full speed ahead. And sometimes that's okay, but in this case, there can be some challenges up ahead. And one of those challenges you'll be surprised to hear is a trine. A trine is usually a very nice aspect, but this is a trine to the south node. And a trine to the south node means we are more likely to go back to behaviors we've done before, whether those behaviors worked or not, and do it over and over and over again. And so that trine can cause you to tell me that, oh yeah, I'm going to do something brand new, and then you stomp off and do the exact thing you've done before. And that even when you catch yourself doing it, it will be hard to stop yourself because trines are so easy. And the most interesting thing is it is part of a grand trine. Again, you're going to say, Donna, grand trines are great, but not necessarily always. This grand trine is the south node, that going backwards, that being, caught up in that pattern of what you've done before. Trine the Mars, which is action, trine the sun and moon and the Mercury, and which is saying this is the thing I'm trying to start. So what happens is you get in this feedback loop of saying to yourself, I have to take action, and you do the same thing you've done before. I have to take action, you do the same thing you've done before. And over and over and over it goes. And so this can especially happen if you're feeling anxiety. Where would the anxiety be coming from? It's coming from that inconjunct to Saturn. That inconjunct to Saturn, which says, I don't have enough, I'm not enough, that there's other people that they control everything, I don't control things. There is all of this anxiety and doubt, and then that feedback loop starts. So where are the bright spots? Well, there are two bright spots, and the first one is the sextile to the north node. And the sextile means that if you are mindful, if you do things with intention, you will have incredible breakthroughs, because this north node, which is connected to the Saturn, to the Mars, to the sun, all of those planets, it can pull in opportunities for your life path. And that means that the universe comes down, opens up a big door for you, and you just walk on through. But to find that door takes intention. And the second thing, which I'm calling a hidden treasure, is that Uranus in the 12th house, that house of hidden talents, that house of psychic ability, of intuition, of spirituality. That Uranus is making a sesquine You've never heard me say that before. A sesquine, a 105-degree aspect, both to the Saturn and to the Sun. So what's a sesquine? A sesquine is a combination, really, of energies between a trine and a square, which when you put those two together can be great. But a sesquine is like trying to do something when you have a dull tool. That is, if you were trying to cut a tomato with a really dull knife. If you know you have a dull knife, if you are mindful of it, you can successfully cut the tomato. But if you're not, if you just go in to cut, you're going to squish the tomato. And so this is something that takes finesse. It takes intention. It takes this mindfulness. So you're going to hear me say that, or you have heard me say that a couple of times, is this month, the people who are going to be the most successful are the ones who are doing things by intention, mindfully doing things. So let's go around the wheel and see what's happening, starting with relationships. Now, you have the South Node going through your house of relationships, so it's part of that feedback loop. So it's possible that somebody from your past is going to come back into your life, or maybe you were thinking about getting out of a relationship and now you're deciding to stay in, or you're single and you've decided to just remain single. So you're doing something from the past. Now, you don't have any planets in the 5th, no planets in the 7th, but you do have a full 8th house, and that 8th house is about intimacy. So I'm seeing a more sex here than relationship, especially because there's no relationship going on between Mercury and Jupiter right now. So if you're looking for a long-term relationship right now, you're a little bit out of sync, so you do have to wait a little bit. But if you're just looking for something that is more sexy, sensual, that sort of thing, yeah, you could do that this time. When it comes to home, normally when I talk to Gemini and Gemini rising, I'm looking at your chart and saying, wow, yourself and your home, they're ruled by the same planet, Mercury, and so everything's fine. But not in this case, because that Mercury is doing the inconjunct to Saturn. So it does say that there are some things where you're needing to make adjustments. These could be around siblings, neighbors, just, like what's going on. Maybe there's some construction going on. Maybe the association is breathing down your neck or things like that. So there are some adjustments that you're having to do. But this is not, huge life or death things. This is just something that is not exactly going the way you want, but it's livable. And so you can put your attention on other things. When it comes to career, I know you see the part of fortune up there. I meant to, not put that on there because it's not a valid point right now, because this is a 0-degree chart. And so it's part of fortune is a mathematical combination of sun, moon, and ascendant. So it has no actual value here. So please ignore it. What you have here is Neptune, and the Neptune you're going to have for a long, long time. It means when it comes to your career, you need to be spiritually listening, that the universe is co-creating with you and it's bringing you signs. It's going to tell you if your company is healthy, if the industry you're in is going to last, if you should be making some sort of shift into something else. So that Pisces can give you that information. Currently, Mercury and Neptune are not speaking to each other. They're just out of orb. So right now, making changes to your career are more difficult. It's more right now you're just picking up the vibrations versus actually making a big change. So if the changes are happening to you, you have to just go with the flow, and that's what the Neptune is suggesting. Of course, that Mercury in Leo would be like, no, I'm not going with the flow. But this point, it would be better to just kind of, bob along with the stream and allow things to unfold as they do. When we look at your money, you have Venus in your 2nd house, and while Venus can bring some small amounts of money and some positive energy to money, it also means money is going out. So you might be spending more than usual. And so that's just something like, if you were already planning to spend money, that's great. You'll buy and like what you got. That's wonderful. But if you weren't planning on some spending, then you're going to have to be mindful about that. Your house of money is pulling energy from that moon in the third house, which is involved in all of those different, trines and sextiles and all of that stuff. And so there is an awful lot of pressure on your energy of money right now. It does mean that you might feel more emotional about it, but that a new beginning can start. And that means like having a new attitude about money, aligning yourself with the energy, allowing yourself to recognize that you can be a money magnet with this energy, as the moon can attract to itself. But it does mean that you have to get out of the fear place and go towards, how can I solve problems? How can I come up with creative solutions? And who can I communicate with? Because that is extremely important with the moon in the third. Now, when it comes to money from your business or passive income sources, royalties, affiliate marketing, things like that, you have a full 8th house. You've had that for some time now. You are going to continue to have it. So it does mean that there's tons and tons of opportunities. But let's see how easy those are to access. What we're looking at is the relationship between the moon and the Saturn, and you're doing the exact inconjunct. So that means that all of these things are a little bit outside your comfort zone, or you're having to do things that you don't particularly enjoy. And that might be that, yes, you can make money in the market right now, but it takes a ton of research. And so that makes it less passive and more active. It could be that, maybe you're making some money in affiliate marketing, but it's tiny bits of money. And so for the amount of work that you're doing, you're feeling it's not worth it, but it could grow, etc. So you're doing the inconjunct. That means look at how you can adjust. When it comes to money derived from career, you have Chiron and Mars there. Mars is going to be there for the rest of the year. This is really good news for making money through just working for somebody else, or if you're a business owner and you work side by side with your employees. So any of that sort of energy is very good, because that Mars is going to find you money-making opportunities. And it is making a trine with the moon, which is ruling your second house. So that is incredible. You have the opportunity to take action to make money. Now, the problem is, remember that feedback loop. Both of those trine that south node. And so you are likely to go back to something you've done before and settle into an old pattern, where you could use this to actually take things that you know how to do and apply it to something else. And that's really the direction to go, is to say, all right, well, I had to communicate and do a lot of customer service in one job. And so you go to an entirely different industry, maybe selling a different type of product, but you still have to communicate. You still have to make connections. And so therefore you can use your skill set. When we look at windfalls, the house is empty and there's no relationship between Moon and Venus, and so we don't have good energy for windfalls. So that means really be very, very cautious when you're taking extreme risks. That means, like maybe no serious Bitcoin trading or jumping in to make a huge investment in somebody else's business. You just want to hang back a little bit because this energy has not lined up yet. It could mean that there's more information coming, that you have to wait for markets to calm down, or you just have to be in a better financial place yourself before you take such a risk. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe and stay tuned. There's a little bit of a clip here for the magical cat LaRue.